apologize for the late start, and hopefully you can hear me. Let me check my phone real quick and make sure that this is actually coming through to you. I will pull this up. My own name, it says I'm live. Yeah, okay. So, there we go. Okay, that's working. This microphone is not working, so that's cool. I'm actually using the head mic right now for everything. Let me pull up my sound settings real quick and see what actually might be going on. I assume that my default input has changed. Okay, so let me know if you can hear me in the chat. I don't think this microphone is going to work today. And that's okay because I have a backup, right? And that's part of what today's show is about, is being able to work from the road. And that's what the plan is, because we are getting ready to go to NAB. And so this is kind of a good way to handle this, but also by necessity. So who knows? So I'm an hour late. What on earth happened? Well, last night, I don't know if you noticed, but there were significant storms that moved through Middle Tennessee. And they started down pretty low, pretty south of us in Missouri, and then they moved on through to Tennessee. And starting at about 2 o'clock in the morning, Central Time, we were under 4 tornado watches from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So there were 4 different supercells that went through Tennessee, and we were awake for most of it. And so that was a bit of a challenge to... that's the first time that we've had something like a major storm like that, where I'm just going to, again, just double check. Yeah, okay, this sounds pretty good. So that was the first time we, as a family, had to navigate like full-on storms like that. We've had a tornado in the vicinity, and also we had one on Sunday that actually went over our house, but it was losing power by the time it got to us. And so that was a little scary, but it wasn't really a huge deal. Whereas yesterday, there was a big tornado that hit Selma. I think that's in Missouri. So if we go back here, let me just Google this real quick so that we can all... maps.google.com, and Selma... Is it Selma, Alabama? No. Selma... I think it's Mississippi, actually. Yes. No, that's not right either. What on earth? Anyways, it was right on the border. Let me pull this up here so that you guys can kind of see what it is that I'm looking at. It was right on the border of not Selma, Mississippi. Maybe I have it spelled wrong. But it was kind of like down here somewhere, and maybe it was in Tennessee, actually. Henderson, Whiteville. Anyway, there was a tornado that was just down in kind of this vicinity here that did a fair... Oh, here, Selmer. That's the one. So Selmer had a tornado drop on top of it, and this thing apparently has done significant damage to this town. Well, anyways, this storm then kept going, and I'm over here where this little tab is here in Bonacqua, and so it came across here. Well, by the time it got to me, it was not a tornado anymore, but it was actually still spinning and trying to like get up again. But this was a significant tornado that happened yesterday in Selmer, and so yeah, it traveled over here, did some damage in Linden, and then Centerville is kind of the county before me, and then Hickman County is where I am. And so went right through downtown Centerville and then headed towards Fairview, and eventually lost some steam. And all of the tornadoes really lost a lot of their power when they got to Nashville. And so then it was just like this downpour of rain the whole time. And yeah, they weren't able to. The storms either didn't move on, and they didn't really lose a lot of their power. So it was an interesting night, but we were up for quite a while in the night, trying to kind of navigate whether or not what the fate of our new home is. So, sorry about the late start. That's what that means. Is my family is home, and they are school was canceled today due to power outages and flooding. And so, not flooding at the school, thankfully, but power outages this morning, and so they had to cancel. And now the power is back on. Now, same thing here. Our power came on about 8 o'clock, and so it had been out all night and then had turned on again this morning. So we were pretty tired this morning and had a rough go. Good morning, Sean. How are you? Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on by. Always appreciate you hanging out with us. And a GoWeb, what's going on from India? Oh, sorry, I'll give you some time on the screen here. GoWeb, what's happening? Hopefully you and Sanaya are well. We are, anyways, getting ready for the weekend, because this weekend I fly out to NAB, and that is going to be pretty exciting. So I'm assuming that many of the booths are going to be under construction right now. I was thinking last night, you know, it was Tuesday that I went, in 2022, it was on Tuesday that I went to start setting up. And we didn't really get a lot done because most of the stuff didn't arrive until Wednesday and Thursday. So it was unfortunate that that's the way that that worked out. But all good, and we were able to kind of kick things off. Now, another problem is that my computer was off when I came up here about 10 minutes ago, because my battery backups, I turned them off. They were going off last night because we had lost power. So I turned them off. So my whole rig was offline. And then here we are, trying to get up and running. And so I've got to use a secondary microphone. So today we're using the hat mic, which we had worked on a couple of, or maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. And I'm using some brand new Ursa tape strips, which are black, which is great. And so they fade, they disappear the wire in my hat. You remember I had some gaff tape in here. That wasn't really working. These things are impressively strong. So these are 30 strips of stretchy moleskin using hypoallergenic sticky tape. These go in the hat, and they tape underneath the bill, which it's the microphone's on this side, so it tapes the wire down, and then it also tapes it under the like the flap inside. So I've tucked the wire underneath, and then it runs all the way around the back of my hat and then out, and then you probably see here I've got a wire that then goes down my shirt, and that is my microphone. So working pretty well. I've listened to the feed here. Now, how do I plan to use this with an old iPhone 13? So last week we talked about how Wireless Go, so Rode Wireless Go 2 or the professional ones, plug into devices via USB-C. Unfortunately, these older Wireless Go's are not quite that diverse, and so this is the Wireless Go 1, and it is strictly 3.5 out. The USB-C is for charging only. And so I can't buy a little device that then could hook into my phone via USB-C. Also, I have an old iPhone. I have an iPhone 13, believe it or not. And so it is quite ancient, still has a lightning connection on it and not a USB-C, which is what the standard is right now for phones. So it's probably time that I upgrade at some point if I want to do that. But I can't do that before NAB, and budget does not allow. So what am I going to do? Well, the plan then was, well, maybe I could get like a little iPhone dongle or something that would then connect 3.5 in from out of my Rode into my phone, and then I could use that as the microphone input. I tested this kind of extensively yesterday and the day before, and I cannot get my phone to recognize the external microphone. It continues to say, you know, just use iPhone microphone, or off. Those are my options. It doesn't matter what phone app I use. If I use the Blackmagic one, if I use the in-house one, or if I use the new Insta360 Flow app, which we're going to talk about, none of those show the other microphone as an option. And so I had to kind of think quickly, because I'm running out of time, how is it that I'm going to record my audio? And the solution that I came up with is we're going to introduce my Zoom F1 field recorder again, which is a little tiny device that I take camping or take on trips. And it is literally a 3.5 input recording microphone, line or mic in level, and then a headphone jack. And so I can actually clip this onto a shoulder bag that I have, which will have all my camera gear in it anyway. And I can then toss in here all the things that I need and clip that little Zoom recorder onto the side of it so that I can see when I hit record, make sure that red light turns on, and I can check my metering real quick. So I have to manually record my audio, which isn't as nice as just having it automatically synced up with my phone, but it is a way to kind of achieve this goal. And it's also a good way for me to test then and to be sure what my feed sounds like. Because if I were to import the audio directly to my iPhone, I don't think I would be able to monitor the audio, which is something that I want to do. And the second wire that goes down my shirt for this little trip is a set of in-ear headphones. And so these are just some basic ME Pros. I think they're like 40 or 50 bucks that I can pop in and out of my ears with pretty much ease, and I'm able to listen and monitor the feed. Now, what's cool about this is I will know whether or not people are loud enough in my ears because I will have my monitors plugged into them, okay, into the headphone jack. And another thing is this thing runs off of AAA batteries, and I hate that. And so I'm able to take a battery bank with a USB-C out and this is actually the port on this is USB-C micro. And I can plug that in here and then kind of permanently power this over a brick, which should last me for probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours of recording audio, which will be way more than I'm going to do. But now the rig kind of looks like this, and I can also I don't actually have to take this Rode wireless system with me. I will, though, as a backup microphone. But I don't actually have to use it because the microphone on this little Zoom recorder has a threaded microphone 3.5 jack, which is what the jack is on the X5 microphone that I have on the hat. So it's very convenient that I can eliminate one of the battery things that I'm going to have to be concerned about and use that strictly as a backup, where I could connect that in if I had to, and like say this thing wasn't cutting it or the audio wasn't very good and I wanted to switch to a wireless option, or if I wanted my cameraman to take my bag and I wanted to not have that bag on me while I'm talking to people, then we introduce the wireless transmission option. So it gives me some flexibility as long as the batteries are fully charged, which is another thing, right? Like it's another thing to remember that that we have to manage that. What's going on, Stockwork Orange? Is it only on my device that the audio is broken? I can only hear a word from a line. I checked my audio, so I'm not hearing any breaking. Maybe Sean or GoWeb can also confirm if there are some sort of audio issues, but currently I don't hear any on my end. So I'm pretty excited about this because this little guy is going to give me the ability to monitor my audio. I can just clip it on the outside of my bag somewhere or maybe on the main. It's kind of heavy. I mean, it's not kind of heavy, but it's heavy for a piece of fabric. So what the plan is I'm just going to attach it to the side of the bag where it's going to be easy for me to see. Whoops. Easy for me to see. And then I have this bag for, the things that I need my bag for. So I don't have to necessarily carry around a laptop bag, although I probably will. And then my valuables will be on my person really close. And so I'm kind of excited about that. I think that will be an added, I can have all of my personal belongings. Stockwork says, I'm going to give another device a try. I hear you fine now. The start was a little rocky. I had to refresh my browser twice. I noticed that there were a lot of reported issues last night on YouTube while we were watching the Storm live streams, and people said that they just needed to restart their stream and then it worked just fine. Don't know if that's the same issue that we're having here. My son was having issues getting on to YouTube this morning. I had literally had to quit the app and re-sign in for him, and then everything seemed to work. So there may be some other issues going on that I'm unaware of, but right now it seems like everything is operating correctly. Again, I'm monitoring things on my end, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's perfect. It's going swimmingly. So one of the things, though, I did end up buying those little, iPhone Lightning dongles, but this did not recognize as a microphone, and so that was unfortunate. Um, that it wouldn't do it. I was a little disappointed by that because I kind of rushed to get all that in. But anyways, it was perfectly fine. All right, hey, I started up YouTube and now it's working fine. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so the meat of today's show then is how are we going to record the things that we're going to see at NAB, and I'm going to put them up on my Instagram, put them up on my YouTube. I'll probably put like at the time or day of videos on Instagram right away, and then I'll probably film footage and put stuff up on YouTube over time, and hopefully it'll give us some stuff to talk about as time goes along. So how is it that we're going to do that? Well, we've already talked about the audio element, and I'm actually pretty excited about this because I've tested it. This little field recorder gives me some power options as well in terms of phantom power, being able to turn up the gain. I love the idea of having ears and being able to monitor it in real time, make sure that if I'm talking to somebody, I can hear them, and to make sure that I can hear myself if I'm just explaining a booth. So that's pretty exciting, hoping that that goes off well. But the other then element is, how am I going to record it? Well, I thought about taking my camera rig. I thought about taking my Canon RP. It's a great little camera, and it would take some great video. However, we were discussing this, and everybody said, look, for running gun, if you're already thinking about doing B-roll and you're going to use your phone for that, you should really just get a stabilizer for the phone and just do everything on the iPhone, which is kind of why then I was like, all right, how can I make everything work together on the iPhone? But that is not going to be necessarily an option. So, and that also begs another question, like if I'm going to upload things from the floor, then I'm going to have to be careful about my audio on my phone, and not getting to professionally record it on a field recorder. But who knows? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do all this stuff while I'm on the floor. I suspect that I will probably retire in the evening and try and produce a bunch of videos and get them up. So we looked around, and I took some questions and suggestions from folks, and the recommendation was that there is a device called the Insta360 Flow Pro 2. It's their second version of their gimbal for their phones, and it is very, very impressive. And so I placed an order for one, and it did arrive last week. Now, it comes in a handy little travel bag, which fits everything, and that will go into my over-the-shoulder pouch. And then the device itself. And so it's very, very simple, very compact. If I put my hand up against it, it kind of gives you a reference as to how big this thing is. But it is pretty straightforward. And now I'm going to have to stop monitoring my show here, so I'm going to quit. It comes with a phone clip. Now, I just got the basic kit, but you have to put the clip on a certain way. There's a little camera icon that's on the side of the clip, and it needs to point towards your camera on your phone. And then I generally just check to make sure that's lined up in the middle of my charging mag, and I actually just move it slightly down because I find that it's not necessarily weighted perfectly. So I just move it down. It's not touching any buttons or anything like that, and that works just fine. Then it is a heavy magnet, and so you just click this on here, and there's a little red dot. I should show you that. There's a little red dot that's on the actual magnet clip right there, and you line that up with, there's like a little nubbin right there. You line those two things up, and when that thing on your phone pushes down on that red dot, then you're lined up correctly, and you can see that we are evenly we're evenly distributed because this just spins freely, and it doesn't like swing down to one side of the camera. And then the next thing you do is you just open it, and it powers it on. Okay, and we can hold it here. And then because I've already connected, it's Bluetooth, so because I've already connected the gimbal to my phone, I get a notification that says, hey, you have been connected, open the Insta360 app to start filming. And so we open the Insta360 app, and I'll do that here kind of on camera. I'll turn away so you can see. It says, hey, I'm searching for a device, and now I have found it. So there it is. And now we are facing away from, the camera angle is facing away, but now I have control of my phone via the joystick that's here, okay? And that's easy. And if I need to switch the camera, I can do that. And then if I want to, I'll try and show you this over my shoulder so that you can see what I'm doing here. I can just, oops, sorry. Let's change the mode here to auto. And then, oh, this is embarrassing. It keeps, oh, because I'm on time lapse, sorry. So now if I want to auto track my face, I just touch my face, okay? And now as I turn around, it keeps me in the center of the frame, which is really cool. Like, it's a really convenient way to do that. And it's, oh dear. Oh, it's just a flood advisory, okay. Sorry, okay, got to interrupt. We're having all sorts of flooding issues here in Tennessee today. So that's pretty neat. I mean, it's an easy way to kind of control things. I'm sorry that we're not focused here on my face. I wish I was on the actual phone. But anyways, and this is just in auto mode. What I also really like about this, which I think the NDI world, camera world, could take a note of, is it auto finds you again. And so if your face goes out of the frame, it basically checks the last place, like what side of the frame did you walk away on, and starts looking for you. So if you go behind a tree or you do something like that, it'll try and automatically find you. And I find it actually to work pretty well. So as I'm talking to people, I can just hold it out and record, and it, works pretty well just for that. If, however, you know how your camera on the front of your phone, like, facing outward, is usually better. So now they have a way where you can switch this thing around. Oh, whoops, wrong one. You can switch it around so that, what is the option here to do that? No. Is it double click? I can't remember. No, that's auto tracking. You can turn it around so that you could record yourself, so you could record yourself with the better lenses. Now, I'll talk about this in a minute, but there are so many features in this thing that it's hard for me to wrap my brain around, what everything is, like how to do everything. So let me, well, we may have to Google it, but there are multiple modes that this thing functions in. There's follow mode, auto mode, there's horizon, so it won't, like, the horizon will always say stay still, but not necessarily track you. There is field of view, and so if you click on that, it will try and maintain, you in the dead center, and probably tons of details that I'm missing. So yeah, but what I want to get it to spin around. So how do I do that? Oh, that's funny. I took a video. So okay, so that's how you watch your previously taken videos. Because one of the cool things about this is it 3 clicks? Yeah, there it is. So 3 clicks, there's like a little mirror on this guy right here. And so I am able to use my better lenses. Also, I find that it's not quite as distracting if you are to use it this way, because you don't have the whole monitor where you're constantly reading all the data that's on the screen. So when it's time to actually film, you might consider using this method. And the reason that it's convenient is because right here, there's like a mirror. And so that basically shows you the framing. Sorry, I have a business text. So it shows you the framing of what the shot kind of looks like, and it keeps you kind of center. And so now, if I click on auto track, okay, 1 click, you'll notice that the green top of the unit starts to flash, and that means that we're tracking. And so as I move my face, it keeps me in the center. So I could literally stand at a booth and say, and actually we could zoom all the way out so that we could see the whole booth. But then I could say, like here we are, we're at the Black Magic booth, and here's everything that's kind of behind me, and go left to right and give a pano shot while I'm standing in the middle of the frame. And so I think that's a really cool idea. You can turn off the auto track just by clicking the trigger that's here on the front, or I can click it again and that turns it back on. So I'm able to kind of initiate auto tracking. Now, one of the things that you should know about it is there is an option on the selfie camera. Okay, is this going to show the selfie camera? Yeah, okay. So there's an option here on the selfie camera where it says that you can reframe. Where is it here? It's supposed to be over there. Anyways, you can reframe the, we'll go auto track, and then pro framing grid is what it's called. And if I click on that, I can then tell it to utilize lower thirds. And so instead of it, let's see if I can get this to focus. So if I click on track, and it's hard to explain this actually, because I'll spin this around. I'll show you this way. So if we auto frame ourselves, right, then what it's going to do is you can say pro framing grid, and you can pick on the grid where you want yourself to be. So I always like to have my eyes kind of on that, that grid line that's near the top. But if I was talking at a booth and I wanted to show more of the booth, I could actually move it so that it puts me in the left side of the screen, and then I could be talking about what's going on over my shoulder. So that's a really cool feature. And then we can take that pro framing grid off, and then now it remembers that. So as I move, it will try and keep me in. It'll try and keep me in that same quadrant on that area. So I mean, this is really well executed and thought out. I think that now you'll notice though that I don't know if you can see my eyes on this camera here, but you'll notice that I'm constantly wanting to look at my image, which is part of the issue with like confidence monitors, right? And so that's why I think something like using the other way, if we go this way, and now I can spin this around so you can see it. So now I think we're going to turn the camera yoink like that, and then I'm going to zoom all the way out so I can show you the booth. Okay, so now let's try and get this thing to focus on the gimbal. My camera does not. It's like, no, that's a phone. I'm not going to focus on. There you go. So now I can show you the booth, and I can still kind of see myself here, but I know now, all right, look at the lenses, because those are the ones that we're going to be talking to, and it makes it a whole lot easier. And I can't see what settings I'm doing here, right, because I don't have the monitor. But the cool thing is that if you're all alone, this would work pretty well. But if you have a cameraman, it will work even better, because he'll be able to monitor the show, and you'll know, just look at the lenses, but then I don't have to worry about that. So we're going to see if my coworker is game for learning how to use this, because I think that this is an excellent little tool that we could be using to make some great content, and also then learn how to do video while we're on the road. And so doing more social media stuff, doing doing more, period. A couple of the other external features that we can talk about is there are actually some tripod legs. They seem a little flimsy. Like I feel like if I gave it a little force, then it wouldn't take much for me to destroy these things. But it is kind of a cool ability that you can set it on a table and it has its own function like that, and then I can enable tracking and it finds me unbelievably. One of the things that I did this week is I actually set up an NDI Wi-Fi network. Now I know, but only for testing purposes. So if I were to go and turn on, let's leave this app. I'm going to go to my NDI app, and can I turn it like that? Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to put rear view camera on. All right, so now I have to put my phone on my NDI network, which is here. Come on. And I have to add a source. So we're going to add an input. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't need to do that. I can just show you this in Studio Monitor. So let's fade over to my desktop, and I'm going to show you this John's iPhone. Check that out. And NDI Wi-Fi network. Here we go. So with any luck, I will restart my camera, and then you'll be able to see the actual feed on the gimbal. Now, I don't know if you will or not. I actually didn't test this theory too well. John's iPhone. Let's try that again. Let's close out of this. HX camera. It is it on the right network? That's always helpful, right? Yeah, it says it's on the NDI network. Okay. So I did have this working, which is kind of a neat thing because, let's try this one more time. But of course the phone has to get an IP address, right? And so it claims that it's here. Just whether or not. Oh. John's iPhone was added to Discovery Server. Okay, so it knows it's... Oh, is it because it's... I actually don't know what the deal is there. It shows on Discovery Server. Let's quit this app real quick and start it one more time. John's iPhone camera. Turn off the microphone, turn on the front, and then select the source. Negative. Okay, well, let's see if we can add it to... actually, I could try it here on the actual NDI network. See if it's just an IP conflict. Ah, there it is. It's just an IP conflict is what it is. All right, so here is my NDI camera. And now this little guy is able... I can use my little gimbal to move around if I wanted to. The question is, will it track me? I don't think so, because I'm not in the app. So I just turned off tracking. Whoops. And again, let's, can I switch the... All right, I'm going to pause this for a second. Show front. Spin it. All right. And then start. Okay, so now this is using the front-facing cameras. And if I look into the little reflection circle, it probably looks like my eyes are off a little bit. I should look at the lenses. But here is NDI coming over using my gimbal for whatever purposes. If I double click, it turns it off. If I turn it back on, nothing. So it doesn't natively talk to the NDI app, but what other options do we have, right? So let's change the, I don't know, let's see what happens here. If we double click and turns it off, it just doesn't want to turn it back on. It doesn't like it. So if you set it up, ooh, and also, by the way, there is a tripod which has a little selfie stick to it. So now I can put myself kind of at eye height and be able to interact with my camera this way. So if I needed to stream NDI for some reason, now I've got a tripod that is pretty quick, pretty easy. You can see the latency though. You can see how different that is. But this is streaming directly off of my phone over HX and then coming into vMix. So I do have an IP conflict somewhere. So probably because I have two, I have two sets of IPs over on my PC. But it does show up as a source on my discovery server, so I know it's there. It's just a matter, man, I have a hard time, like, where am I looking here? So I know it's there, but it's not showing up on my computer PC. So this is Studio Monitor. Let's do that one more time. This is Studio Monitor on my vMix production machine, and it shows up as a source, but won't actually show up as it won't actually show any video packets. So let's run a little NDI analysis. We know this game, and we'll put this up and find out what sources are on and where they are. John's iPhone, right here, 77.49. So that is not a NDI network IP address, which is strange because I have it on the NDI network. So let's go ahead and where are we here? Let's go ahead and see what the deal is here. Like, are we not on the right network? Check your IP addresses, everybody, as always. So it says I'm on the NDI network, and it says, oh, it says I have a 77 address. Now, how is that even possible? How is that possible? It should not be issuing 77 addresses. It should only be issuing 10 addresses, and I haven't changed anything. Oh, you know what might have happened? I bet I know what happened. So when I set up the Netgear, all right, you're seeing this, right? Yeah. So let's go to my Netgear switch, and let's just check port 7. Port 7 is my Wi-Fi router, but it's not listed as, yeah, an NDI. So that's what happened here. So if I click on this and I say apply, remember everybody, when you apply network settings to your Netgear 4250, you have to hit this button up here, save, and then you probably should reboot it, but I'm not going to do that mid-show. What I will do is I will reboot the Wi-Fi router that now is getting 10 addresses, so give me a second. Okay, that makes actually a lot of sense because I don't think I actually saved those settings, and then when the power outage happened, then it lost those settings that I had set. It puts them in temporary memory, but it doesn't commit them to like full-time memory. So you have to save those settings, network profile, actually click the save button, not just make the changes inside your 4250 edit window and hit apply, and it'll be like, we saved them for you. Don't believe that. Go back in and make sure that you have that when this reboots, it's going to come up on your NDI network, which is 192.168 10 dot something for me. So that's interesting. Makes sense why that happened. I'm going to wait now for the Wi-Fi network to come back, and I should actually be able to see it now on everything as soon as that network comes up, which is still not up yet. We can run this back. 9 more sources found. That's interesting because my NDI camera is offline. Okay, there is the NDI network. It's reboot, which is fairly good. This is actually another Nighthawk router that I had, a second one that I had, and so it's kind of nice to have that option. Come on now. I did not like that. So I want to join the NDI network, and I want to verify that I'm going to get a 10 address. Can't join the Wi-Fi network. That's because it's still booting. So let's click on it one more time. Unable to join this network. This network is operating on Wi-Fi channels that are in use by several other nearby. Well, it's supposed to do that itself. It's supposed to find that out. I don't care if it's, I just connect me to that network. It's probably still booting. So all good, not a huge deal, but we do need to, let's see, my phone did come back on 77.79, which it shouldn't. Hey, there we go. Okay, so now let's find sources. 8 sources found. So now we're going to open up my NDI-HX app, boom, and start streaming. One more time. 8 sources found. Let's look at my discovery server real quick. Oh, that's interesting. Hasn't actually found it yet. So what is the IP address of this camera? Yep, 10.15 is what my phone is on private network. So let's turn off and back on again and see if that makes any difference. It does not, evidently. Let's quit the NDI app. If you have an NDI discovery server, which I do, you can add that to your NDI-HX camera. I don't know if you know that, but you can add those settings into the camera. So I forget where it is that you do that, but I think I've already got those listed here. Again, I had this working just fine the other day, so it should come up just dandy. I found a second NDI camera app, but it's not quite as good as obviously the one from NewTek. So still nothing though. Still hasn't shown up on the network, which is odd because it definitely should be there now. So let's go ahead and quit one more time. Make sure that we are on that. Yeah, we're on the NDI network, Wi-Fi network. And then NDI camera. Let's go ahead and stream. Do I have to like click the name? What do I got to do? Oh yeah, discovery server. Here we go. All right, so the discovery server is listed wrong. It should be 10, right? What's it called? Access Manager. Access Manager, your discovery server is on IP address 1010. So 10, which makes sense because that's the first IP to get issued. Hit return. Bob's your uncle. Prefer TCP if possible. Go back to the app. Now that it's been, all right, let's quit the app because it did not add. Now let's join. Hey, John's iPhone, it shows up. So always double check everything, double check your network settings, of course, because that's going to be a problem. But hey, here is that iPhone app that is now running wirelessly via NDI-HX over my internal NDI Wi-Fi network. So not too bad. I mean, it keeps up pretty well. This is a 1080p 30 signal, as you can see at the top of your screen there. It's just a little delayed. And if that's not a problem for you, like if I, it's probably half a second behind. But, you know, if that's not an issue for you, then no problem. And like I said, this is now on my tripod, so I don't want to show you my messy office necessarily, but here's the vMix machine. You know, it's very convenient. I can put that on there. And whoa, I just bit down on a peppercorn. And I can control this. I can use this tripod, this kind of Insta360 Flow Pro camera mount, to stream via HX over to vMix. And so that's pretty cool. I mean, I think that's a really neat feature that will be beneficial to a lot of folks. You know, I like the idea. I think I like the idea of NDI-HX. I'm not sold on it quite yet. Now, HX3 has really made some significant changes and progress in the world of bringing that full NDI bandwidth quality with the low bandwidth requirements of HX kind of together. And there may be a very valid reason why BirdDog has gone hard into NDI HX3, because I think they can see, it sounds to me, I could be wrong, I have no idea. It sounds like it might be a little bit more mature programming protocol. So nobody's really doing full NDI except BirdDog, and then they're spending all this time and resources getting it into, getting their programs to work full NDI, and then they started building HX cameras and realized, oh, we can actually deliver on this pretty quick and make it quite lucrative, and it looks great and it's fast. So I get it, and actually my NDI wireless network is able to handle something like an iPhone. Now, it's not going to be a very heavy, you know, it's not going to be a very heavy stream in terms of network requirements, and so one little access point is going to work fine. And I also am not in a crowded Wi-Fi space, and so there's a guy next door that has Wi-Fi, me, but we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And so I have a second wireless network, which is just for the NDI testing stuff, and it seems to be working just fine with my phone. So that I'm happy about. Let's see if I can, there we go, turn my camera now. Are there any features or anything that you guys would like to see when it comes to operating this actual device? So the Insta360 Flow Pro 2. This thing is really neat. I mean, the easy tripod, it does have a thread on the bottom, and so if you want to mount it to a tripod and then kind of do a walk around talk, it can definitely do that. I want to enable tracking, and so there, as long as your phone doesn't power down, or the handle doesn't power down, it will remember your positioning preferences, and so we're able to, you pick one of the 9 boxes where you want to be, so it will always go back to that. So you go Pro Framing Grid, and I put myself back in the center, and now it puts my face back in the middle of that shot. So again, sorry for kind of looking away from me here, but I'm trying to give you a good idea as to what this looks like. If I put this right over my shoulder, you might be able to see. But it keeps me very centered, keeps up pretty well. An arm's length is kind of a good distance for me. I think I would prefer the upper box if I'm going to be at an actual arm's length, which is what I'm doing right now, if I'm going to be that far out. Just because I like the subject to be, I don't like a lot of dead space above the subject. Now I might change my tune when I get to NAB and I'm showing things in the background, right? But yeah, I don't quite know yet. The other thing I don't really know is whether or not, and to power this down, you just hold this button on the bottom and it shuts it down, and then officially you turn it off by flipping it around kind of into its storage position, and you take your phone off. The other thing I don't know much about yet, and I think I'm going to get a gross education, is in the actual app itself. If I go to the home screen, it will give me an option to edit my videos. And so I can auto edit videos, which, like, what does that mean, right? So if I put a bunch of videos together, it will auto edit it for me. Don't think that I would really do that too much, but is there a way, so if I say create a video and I use one that I had the other day, you can actually go through and edit where you want it to start and stop. Okay, so I actually like that, and you can select multiple clips. And so I'm assuming then there would be a timeline option where you could, like if I'm talking about something and then I take a video of it, I'd be able to splice that in so that people could see it. So yeah, I'm really interested in this. I'm really interested to see if that editing stuff works quickly. There are templates, so there's like vlogging templates and stuff like that. So if you wanted to put something in, now I think I'm still on the NDI network, so it's not pulling the information from the internet. So I'll switch back to my other house internet here. So it has a bunch of templates that allow you to quickly put a bunch of stuff, it looks like tags or text or something like that. So we can quickly kind of edit that and show, like time and date, and show, man, it's taking a long time to load. But anyways, again, features that I'm very interested in knowing, like, is this worth my time or am I going to just waste my time? So maybe we add a time or date here to this test video that I did. Let's just click it and see what happens. Okay, it didn't actually add it. Oh, you had to download it. I see. So, do you have to edit all these? Certainly not. Oh, it actually does want you to edit each field individually. Ew. Oh, I don't like that. It should definitely do it for you. Project has been saved in drafts. Okay, so meh, I don't care for that too much. I think if anything, I may put the Insta360 app, the actual studio software on my new laptop, and then shoot videos all morning and then over lunch edit and try and get them up on social media. And that way you'd have time, you're probably not chomping at the bit to see what I'm seeing live anyways. What is going on with these glasses? You're not probably going to be chomping at the bit to see what I'm seeing live. Maybe you are, I don't know, but that may not be something I can deliver on. But if I take video with this and then do some interviews, I'm not really planning on doing interviews with people. It's more so just me explaining what we're seeing and how it applies to what we're interested in. So with any luck, we will be able to edit quickly. Now that will be the education, right? How the workflow works will really be what I'm focusing on. So is it fast enough for me to shoot a video, edit it real fast, and post it? If it is, then I feel like as a entry level creator, they've really catered to getting content done and online. But if it's like me trying to press on my screen real tiny and everything, I don't know if that's worth it. Or maybe that's just like, hey, we haven't thought that far through yet with this app. So it's going to be so cool to actually have this option. I've never been to NAB. Ooh, we can do this little, there's a bunch of stickers on here that I haven't peeled off yet. So here you go, you can listen. Ooh, that's satisfying. So yeah, there's a bunch of stickers that we haven't taken off. There's an NFC. There was an NFC button on the top there. This is just a weird thing that shows you the button orientation, but the buttons also have the same label, so I'm not too sure what the deal is there. So we take that off, and then let's open this right up. It's like looking for the camera. This can come off the handle. Ooh, it's so clean. And then last but not least, let's fold this down again, shut her down. On the magnet, there's another little label that we gotta take care of. So let me find, I'm aware of what that label says, and I've done it about a dozen times, so I think we're good. Hey, one cool feature that we've got is that you have a USB-C charging port. This is the input, and then there's an output on the actual mag. So if you have a tiny little jump cable that goes to your phone, you can use the battery in the handle as a portable battery backup. So if you're running out of space or something like that, you can definitely use it as a way to charge your phone, because both your phone and the handle are going to be going down, right? Now that is why, let's put this back in the bag real quick, and with the clip, that is why I am taking a couple of battery banks, because battery banks have saved the day when I've been camping a bunch. So there's a little carrying bag with everything inside. But I bought an Anchor battery bank, which is USB-C, and then I also have some of these kind of generic ones. This is Kamashi. Have worked really well. They're heavy as ever, but they hold the charge. I mean, I haven't charged this one in a month or so, and this guy I charged up about a week ago, and it's still at full battery. So what really matters, right, is the milliamps. So the milliamps on this guy is 15,000 milliamps, and on this guy, I believe he is much bigger. Oh, I got this one as a gift. This one's 20,000 milliamps. So with these two combined, I should be good for a day, because I'll have one that's plugged into my phone, charging my phone when I'm not using it, and one plugged into both the Zoom recorder and the GoFlow when I'm not using them. The Zoom recorder will need power all the time, but I think it'll be a pretty simple thing. And then I can put it over a sling, which is even weight distribution, and we should be good there. Good morning, Zach. How are you? Hey, I just used DaVinci Resolve for editing on the fly stuff. I just used DaVinci Resolve. Okay. I find it way easier to do everything later than post it that night. Hey, what device is that? I'm assuming that you're talking about this guy. So this is the Insta360 Flow Pro 2, which we just pretty much extensively talked about. But it is going to be my gimbal for shooting video at NAB. So pretty excited about that. I can't wait to give that a try. I'm also very happy, very pleased with the way that my microphone setup is working on my hat. That seems to work really well. And then I have ears. And so I can plug this into a monitor that's the field recorder that's recording, and I can be sure that I can hear myself and or try and avoid noises that I'm hearing while trying to record. So that'll be great. So I do think I might try and get some stuff out same day, but I might just spend time recording and then post it on Instagram. Does Instagram allow you to delay, like schedule a post? Because that would be good. I don't necessarily want to flood Instagram all at once, but if you could schedule a post, I haven't looked into that because I haven't actually needed it. I have, for my job, I have social media schedulers, and so I know that they will do that, but they do that independently of the actual app itself. They don't actually upload it to Instagram. They wait till the time and then they do that. So if I say post next, next, and then is there a chance to do this later, like post later? Add music, add a reminder, audience, location. No. Straight. Oh, wait, schedule this post. There you go. Cool. Okay, so we can do that. Never mind. All right, dump this. Great. So we know now that we can schedule posts. So once I'm done with them on my computer, I can send them back to Instagram via AirDrop. And yeah, we can definitely take care of it. So good stuff. Hey, are those Shure In-Ears 215s? They sure look like it, but they aren't. They're actually just ME Pros. And work pretty well for what I need them for, just for monitoring things. They work pretty well. Hey, nice kit. I missed the start of the show. You're going to be nicely kitted out for NAB. Looking forward to seeing your stuff from the show. Thank you. Hopefully we make it look like we know what we're doing. I was going to say semi-pro, but then I was like, nah. Probably just that it looks like we know what we're doing. I appreciate that. Yes, ready to go, lightweight. Just focus on batteries and focus on having the experience at NAB, not worrying about the technical side, right? Because there's two things about it. The guys that are worried about the technical stuff, it comes across in the video. And really, you just kind of want to roll with it. And the guy that I'm taking with me to NAB, I'm going to give him the gimbal and just say, let's just record a couple of things. And he get used to the way that it works and feels, so that it comes natural. Hey, let's record this. And he can bloop, flip it out and go. And I think that that's what we want to, I want to get to that spot where we can walk and I can talk to him while he's holding the gimbal, especially as we're walking through the floor, and I can explain things or what it is that we're looking for, what we were excited about or what we weren't too sure about or whatever. So really looking forward to that. Yes, you can use Meta's Planner. You can schedule Insta posts for like a month. Oh, nice. That's right. Meta allows you to schedule on both. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll use Meta Business Planner. That's what I'll do, because it'll go both to my Facebook and my Instagram then if I do that. And then I can schedule them on YouTube separately. So good thinking, Stephen. Good thinking. All right. So it is the week before NAB. We're headed out on Saturday. And the question I have is Eamon going to be there? So my former boss, Eamon Drew, he has started a new company called AV Turtle. And they're making Dante devices. So that would be really cool if he's able to show up. It's kind of like him to maybe not be, to make a decision last minute. NAB is very expensive. So for a startup, it may be way out of reach to have somebody, try and um, join your show, the show the first year. You'd probably have to generate some great income. But we do have a checklist of places that we want to hit up and find out. I mean, I do. Of course, B&H, Bird Dog, Black Magic. This is going to be a big one for us because we use Black Magic a lot in our current rig. So Black Magic's going to be a big one. Some of these other ones like Canon, we use Canon lenses. Elgato, we use them. Clearcom, I'm interested to talking to them because right now we have a different system. We'll see them a little later, but Clearcom, do they do anything for smaller operations? I need a half a dozen to a dozen headsets. What do you have that doesn't break the bank? Dante will be there. Diversified will be there. Some of our friends will be at Diversified, so we might stop by their booth just to say hello. Falcon Eyes, I don't actually own a Falcon Eyes, but I did when I was at Bird Dog, and I used one at Bird Dog, and they were great. So I'd like to see what new things that they have coming up. It's always good. Check in. Grass Valley, these guys I'm not particularly needing to see. I know their stuff is impressive, and so it'd be fun to just kind of look around the booth and see. But I don't think necessarily that I need to spend a whole lot of time at Grass Valley. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, tell me in the chat. Am I wrong about that? Hollyland, though, make microphones, and we actually use, it's that entry-level wireless microphone thing, much like my Rode Wireless Go 2 stuff, or Rode Wireless Go devices, and so, it might be fun to see where they're at and if they're coming out with anything. Of course, Insta360 will be there, and I'm very still interested in a 1-inch lens, so maybe they'll have it there, who knows? KiloView will be there, and now that I'm in the NDI space, but not exclusively Bird Dog, I'm curious to see what it is they're up to. LiveView is something that we really want to look into because LiveView has the ability to transmit, obviously, up to cell towers, and we want to start doing more remote stuff. So LiveView will be a booth that will be high on my list to see. Of course, Magewell, they have their NDI and IO over IP stuff that we need to check out. The NDI booth, naturally, go and see who we recognize, or maybe not. Newer has a lot of cool camera equipment, and now we're in that realm where we're buying rigs, and so yeah, we definitely need to stop by the Newer booth. And Netgear, go by and see if John Hinkle's hanging around, or maybe some of the other folks that were on that team that I used to work with. But go and say hello and see what they've got coming out for the AV world. I'm running a 4250 here, and so that's been really great to have. And actually, John, I believe, hooked me up with that, so I need to go and say thank you. New Blue, these guys are doing a lot of post-production stuff for effects, and we're getting into that. We, lower thirds and making things look interesting, and so I have a friend that works for New Blue, and I'd like to see what it is that they're up to. So we'll go there. Osmo, I'm not too sure what I'm gonna expect here, but we're gonna check them out. Peplink is one that I really want to go and hang out and see, because Peplink is the device that I believe I'm gonna buy that will combine internet resources into one solid source. So while we are broadcasting remotely, we can have cell coverage, live view, we can have somebody's internet, we can have, a variety of WANs that will then combine them and to make a stream to go, a solid stream, which is what we want to do. And I'm still envisioning a remote rig that has PTZ cameras. So the X1, the X4, some of those, I need to see if I can get my hands on them, at least try them out at the show and see what it is that they can do for us, because we've got to make it where the rig is not super complicated. It's basically like a 6-step PDF, laminated PDF that just says, do this, plug this in, connect cable 1 to 1 and 2 to 2 and flip the switch, like what I mean? It's like, I got to make it super simple so that we can deploy this stuff without needing to hire a whole bunch more people. Now, I suspect the first couple of places we go, we'll go with the minister that is at Safe Harbor with me. But in the future, I want to make it to where he can go on his own and plug it all in and set it up, and we're good to go. Well, 2 PTZs, one left, one right. is probably the way to do it, because then we could connect over Bird Dog Cloud or even NDI remote. I mean, is that something that you guys would trust? And we can try and we can just control the rig from there. But it has to work, and it can't drop. That's really the key. Of course, PTZ Optics, one of the direct sister companies, competitors to Bird Dog. Interested to see what they're up to. I don't care for Panasonic lenses too much, but always good to see what's on the horizon. Ross Video, I'm just curious to see what they're doing. I actually have never been to their booth, and so it'll always be good to see what Ross is up to, but maybe something will spark my interest. Ceramonic is the headsets that we have. I'm okay. I'm happy with them, but I'm not thrilled. And that's where I want to see, hey, do you guys have an option to integrate? What I really want to hear from them is, do you have an option to integrate program into your headset feed, and how does that work? It needs to be simple, but right now it's just over a kind of a simple Wi-Fi network. We have a hub, and then we have a bunch of headphones that connect to that hub. Again, it works 90% of the time. It's just not rock solid. It's just not something that I absolutely trust. And so I would like to find out how to make it rock solid, or talk to Clearcom about, hey, what do you do for small installations where you don't charge them 10 grand for headphones, Sennheiser, we use Sennheiser microphones, and I particularly like Sennheiser microphones, and so I want to go by and see what they're up to. Scarhoy, would be great to talk to Scarhoy finally. I never got to, really, when I was with Bird Dog, just in the support realm. Small Rig is another company that does, gear for cameras, and again, we could really use some good solid gear, so I'm interested to see what they've got going on. Of course, Sony, Telstream. I don't know if Jeremy's going to be there or not. Oh no, he works for Resi now. Is Resi going to be here? That's a good question. I'll find out. So Telstream, Wirecast guys, just go by and see the booth. Just go by and see what they're up to. Vimeo, we use Vimeo as one of our video repositories, so that would be cool to find out what they're doing. VizRT, the owners of NDI and formerly NewTek, they do a lot of graphics and live production stuff, so this would be a great way to just spark some inspiration, what it is that we could be doing in the near future. Of course, vMix, I'm a vMix believer, and I want to go by actually and tell them, here's the story, and make sure they know that they converted me, and all thanks to Tom St. Clair. So if they could do something nice for him, that would be great. That would be great. X-Keys. Last year they had a big show. I'm sad I missed it, but they introduced their LCD little punch panels, and it would be great for my coworker to see X-Keys. That's a Michigan-based company. However, they had some employee turnover, and so it's going to kind of feel new, I think. And Zcam. Zcam has been a brand name in the realm for quite a while, and I think we should check them out and see what they have to offer. I'm still leaning towards Bird Dog, but I need, this show will basically solidify that for me, and see what we can do. Oh yeah, I still have a year of Bird Dog Cloud, but I haven't even used it yet. It looks like Resi will be there. All right, so that would be good. Let's go ahead and go to my show and exhibitors. Whoops. Explore the floor plan. Let's find out where Resi's going to be. Because we use Resi every week. Actually, we use it multiple times a week. And we should tell them what we're up to. So Resi, Resi, here we go. Yoink. So, they got a wee little tiny booth. So that's cool. As long as you're there, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter how big the booth is, really. It matters, are you there? Do you have a presence? Are you getting exposure? So that's cool. Ooh, Arista Networks. I'll add that to my list. This is starting to fill out a little bit. HP, man, I don't need to go by them. The Weather Company? Weather means business. The Weather Company delivers the most accurate, personalized, and actionable weather for traffic data and visualization to TV broadcasters. Coming out of a tornado, that's very interesting. I'll walk by and look. Boland is there. We better add Boland to our list. Although I don't think anyone would recognize me at this point, or would want. Well, they may want to. Atmos. Is this who I think? Is this? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, let's add them to the list. Yeah, okay. So the floor is definitely filling out, and it looks like we are. What is that? Cloudland. Cloudland is the most widely deployed independent provider of object storage. Okay. Oh, you know who? What's that company? Hang on one second. The company is. Oh shoot. Cart. Here we go. Ugreen. Are they going to be there? Or maybe I already. Their storage. Ah, bummer. Oh. Shenzhen Ugreen Trading Limited. Yeah. Yes, please. Boom. All right, cool. They're going to be there. I've been looking at a NAS for personal use, and that might be a good way to go. I'll have to think it through. I can do that on the airplane. So Ugreen's going to be there. This is a hall that does not look like there are many things I'm particularly interested in. Oh, down here, Killaview. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Why is Blackmagic's booth? Oh, they have two? Ah, so there we go. We will be going by Blackmagic's booth. Yeah, that's so cool. So yeah, this is going to be great. My coworker is pretty excited to go and see, and I just told him we're just going to go and look, just going to go and see what's out there, and I think that that'll be really good to help us understand where the market is and what options we have. And this is one of 3 halls. You know, that first day we'll probably hit up that hall, and then the second day we'll probably hit up this one. Ceremonic Magewell. This isn't where Bird Dog is, right? Yeah, we'll probably go Bird Dog first, unless they're just packed. But yeah, really cool stuff. I'm really pumped about this. So South Hall lower, and then North Hall, and then probably West Hall on Tuesday morning. Hit up West Hall, and then go back to see anything that we want to see. VizRT is here, Vimeo's here, Peplink is here. I don't know. I kind of want to see them all the first day, right? Diversified's there. Yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope, I hope that I'm able to bring some content to you guys that you want to watch, because that would be really important stuff. So, hey, at the church, we need to replace our old PTZ cameras and add a few more. I'm on the fence about what brand to buy. I sort of want to rig up some Blackmagic cameras on PTX mounts. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you learn. I definitely will. There was, in 22, there was a company that borrowed a Bird Dog camera and had it on like a pedestal thing that I always thought would be great to mount in the ceiling, and then have the camera come down and operate during the thing and then go back up to the ceiling. Wouldn't that be fun? I forget what that company's called, but they were there. That would be a great way to kind of keep everybody comes in, they all sit down, then the cameras come down, right? Oh, and since you haven't said it yet this on stream, I'm so bummed that I won't be at NAB this year. I am bummed that you aren't going to be there either. That stinks. Well, I was hoping for work to send me to NAB, but due to the government, it kind of screwed us over. Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that. Voltrox has some budget lenses that I use. Okay. What mounts do they have? Viltrox. Viltrox, is that right? They are here. So that's a big booth. I will add it. Thank you. Always, I just want to know, what people kind of have going. What was that company? Dang it! I wish I remembered. They're called telescopic camera mounts. It was kind of a cool. It's kind of a cool idea, where you could hang it let's say retractable. Boom. B-Tech AV mounts. That sounds familiar. But they're not motorized. Webcam ceiling mounts. Telescoping. Maybe I gotta say motorized. Because they use them in conference rooms and stuff too, right? So, Fuji, Nikon, and Sony. Yeah, we're about 70% of our budget comes in from the NHI. Oh, wowzers. Yeah, that's a lot. Axis makes one. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, there's a B&H website here. Motorized camera mounts. Bow. So there's a little data video robotic pan tilt for your camera. See this, like, if $800, and then if you had your Blackmagic, micro or something, that'd be kind of cool. This is not. Oh, Marshall makes one. Interesting. No, the one that was on display in 22, it kept like going up and down, like they kept showing it. Like, I would love to find it. If I don't find it here, I'll keep my eyes open while I'm there. But that would be really cool. It's like a motorized telescoping. Let's go back here. Motorized telescopic camera mount. Company. Who knows if they survived? B&H motorized camera mounts. Bam, bam, bam. Lame. Well, I will keep my eyes open because that's something that, we'd be interested. I would be interested in if we're going to run with PTZs or something. Even if we're going to run with static cameras, it would be great to have them mounted to the ceiling and then just flip a switch and they come down and that's it. But I don't know. I don't know if that's an option or not. So we'll keep our eyes open for that. And Daniel, I'll check out their booth and see what lenses they have. Okay, it is 12:30. I have a heap load of work to do because, lots of reasons. So I need to get on. So I will be at NAB next week, but I will be back online next Thursday to share about that event and see how things went. So we're going to definitely have another show next week. I'll be back on Tuesday night and then Wednesday to recover and to catch up on all the work that I'm not doing Monday and Tuesday. And then hopefully Thursday, I will be able to spend some time with you guys online. So bring your questions. Any videos that you see that you want clarification on, feel free to hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you need. And also save your questions for the show. And I'm happy to answer them here live. So we'll kind of gather all that stuff up as we do that. And then just have a big NAB wrap-up, post-NAB show. So I'll plan on doing that. I'll get something up to put up on YouTube so that there's a spacer there and you can expect to join me. And in the meantime, be safe. Have a great week. Looking forward to being at NAB. Can't wait to share what it is that I find. Hopefully I stay healthy and safe. There's apparently a lighter storm system moving in on Saturday, so I'm going to try and get out of here before then. But and then, we're going to spend a few days over at the link and at the convention hall and just having a good time hanging out. So it'll be great. We'll definitely chat with you later. Zach, always a pleasure to be with you, and thank you so much for joining us. And Daniel, thanks for stopping by today. Have fun at NAB. Thank you, sir. I definitely will. Looking forward to it. There's got to be an elegant way to PTZ some Blackmagic cameras. Ask the folks in the booth and get me a solution. Hey, do me a favor, and there's got to be a way. So I'll see. They may even have a solution for that, like a partner or something. So we will see, because I am interested. We're interested in another man camera because I've got lots of cameramen now. But I do also want a couple of other shots that would be great to just be able to position them a little bit. We have a couple of PTZs, they're Sonys, and they're okay. They color match all right, but the quality, like the visual quality, is substantially lower. And so if I'm going to do that, I'd like to get a 4K camera, a 4K sensor, and have it on a PTZ and mount them somewhere else than where they already are. But that would be great. So more on that later. We'll find out, if money's no object, which it always is. But thanks for coming along, everybody. Always appreciate you. Thanks for sharing some time with me today. And I look forward to reporting to you live from NAB, or reporting to you almost live at NAB. Wish us luck, and we will see you guys in about a week. So take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.